guys, my name is Aidan.
And my name is David.
And welcome to the David and Aidan show. We got a lot of stuff in store for you guys on the second episode of our podcast today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super stoked. We have tons of stuff to talk about. Spider-Man, what else? Stranger Things, bunch of stuff. It's going to be a loaded episode, and I'm so stoked that you joined us for episode 2. So before we get everything started today, we are going to do our very first ever fan question segment for this podcast. Now, if you have a question for us for future podcasts, definitely reach out to us in any way you know how to drop us a question, or go to our Anchor page, which is the distribution service we are using for this podcast, and leave us a voice message that we can then play in the podcast as a viewer question. So that's all the stuff for that. But David, why don't you go ahead and give us today's fan question for this episode?
Okay, so our fan question today is what got us into Star Wars and Marvel, and this is from my friend over at Taekwondo, so shout out to you, Jaden.
Alright, sweet. I'll go first. So Star Wars and Marvel have been, kind of consistently there for me pretty much all of my life. I don't really have, I know you have, a big kind of origin story for that, David, but I don't really have that. I kind of just, phased into it, I guess. For Marvel, when I was little, I would watch a lot of kind of cartoon and animated series from the Marvel franchise. I watched the X-Men stuff, and I watched this animated Iron Man TV show too. So those kind of drew me into that. Then I think my first Marvel movie that I watched was one of the original Avengers, and since then I kind of just dove full force into the culture of that and kind of became a Marvel fan. So that's with that. And then with Star Wars, again, it's kind of not too glamorous of a story. I kind of just started watching the movies and then just watched all of the movies. And then, yeah, that's about it. But so that's what I have to say for that. What about you, David? What got you into those two franchises?
So for Star Wars, like you said, I do have an origin story for that. So I was at Barnes and Nobles with my family. I was 3 or 4 at the time, probably 4. I think 3. I'm not sure. And there was this huge cardboard cutout of Darth Vader near the little kids book section. I walk over, I see it, and of course it's a big thing and it scares me. So I'm having a little tantrum, I'm not sure what this thing is. My dad tells me, no, that's Darth Vader. Meant nothing to me. But then later he tells me about Star Wars. We watched Star Wars either that same night or the next night. We get it from the library on VHS. That's the cool part. I watched Star Wars on VHS.
On VHS, wow.
I know, right? And then we watched it, and I kind of watched in 20-minute segments because I couldn't watch the whole thing because I was just too bored. But eventually I finished episode 4. Then I got on to episode 5, 6, the prequels, and then of course the new Disney Star Wars. Have a YouTube channel, so Star Wars has been a very huge constant in my life. There's always been points where I've loved Marvel, for example, more, but I've always loved Star Wars. And Marvel, I pretty much, this one's more basic. I just saw people talking about it. Tried to get into comics, that didn't work, so then I just started watching the movies. And my first movie that really got me into it, I knew something about it, was Civil War.
Nice, cool. Yeah, nice. What would be your favorite movie out of Star Wars and Marvel? Between the two, what's your favorite movie?
Okay, I can do this quick. Let's see, Endgame and Empire. Nice.
I'd have to say, Spider-Man, of course, is great. So probably one of the new Spider-Mans. I wasn't a huge fan of Far From Home, but Spider-Man Homecoming was great. And I think maybe it wasn't necessarily great from a movie point of view. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't, but maybe that's not the reason why I like the movie so much. It's mainly just because it was the first movie with Spider-Man. And right. I think that kind of brought in an entire wave of new fans, and it just kind of made a new kind of area and a new kind of subculture to the MCU. So I really like the Spider-Mans, and of course, Endgame and Infinity War, great movies as well. And then for Star Wars, I just gotta say the first 3 movies, so A New Hope and all those and stuff. Yes. I wasn't a huge fan of the prequels and the Disney stuff. It's okay. We're gonna talk more about that in the later part of the podcast about how Disney has kind of changed Star Wars.
Yes.
But all in all, first Star Wars movies, they were old. They weren't necessarily the best written movies, but they were still very good movies. So that's what I gotta say on that. All right, David. So our first topic for today's podcast is the iPhone 11. I figured we should totally talk about this since it's big in the news lately, and it's a pretty big thing. So iPhone 11, it was just released. What are your initial thoughts of this device, David?
So initially, I can't say it looks amazing because the little cameras look weird, but it's an amazing piece of software. It's an amazing phone. I am Apple. I'm using iPhone XR. But just the cameras look incredible. The colors look fun. Honestly, it's just kind of, repetitive at this point. Oh, it's a new iPhone. It looks a little different. It has this. But besides that, like the 10, that 10 was massive because it looked all pretty and new.
Right.
But now it's just kind of like, until something huge happened, like no notch or something along those lines, then this is all seems repetitive with just like prettier cameras.
This is like we're falling back into how Apple was like before the 10, the 7, the 8,
yes.
The 6. They were slightly different, slightly better internals, but overall, the aesthetic of them and the things that most consumers would care about, not really changing.
Exactly.
So, the iPhone 11 looks really good. I don't know if it's totally justified to upgrade from the 10R to the 11. The 11 Pro, though, that's an entirely different ballpark right there. Oh boy, those cameras, they look really good, to be honest. Okay, so I'm an Android guy. I'm using my Samsung S9 right now, and it's, not the newest phone, but it's still a pretty good phone. And I don't know, some of the new stuff that Apple is adding in the latest phones could potentially be something that could compel me to switch to Apple. And I don't know, it's a little weird, it's a little hard to think about that because there's so much I like about Android. All my backups, all my photos, everything. I use Google a lot of Google stuff. And I feel like that integration is not there with Apple. But I feel like at some point, the Apple hardware and software will push me over the line to switch. So.
Yes. No, I love Apple. I use, I use Microsoft. I don't use Apple computers and stuff, but I love Apple for their phones. I'm just so used to them by now, so it would be weird for me to switch. But I don't fall into those rivalries of which is better because both of them are good, and then the specs just kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, it's a good phone. I don't know if you watched MKBHD's video. He said it was easy. There's not a whole lot to talk about, but it's not a bad phone. The 11, I don't have a ton of thoughts on the 11. The 11 Pro, again, very good phone. The colors look amazing. Dude, I don't know, that dark green, it looks so good. And
it does.
We talked about this before, I don't know if it justifies buying a new phone for the color if you're just going to put a case on it anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right. So, that's about all we have to talk about the iPhone 11, I think. All right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think you have some news for us for our second topic on on Star Wars and some stuff about that's going down. So why don't you give us a fill on that, David? What's the haps with the Star Wars?
Okay, so basically this is a little bit of an older story. It's so funny how fast news moves. This was out for a week now, but now it's old news. Anyways, hot take aside. So basically what happened was Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is releasing a book. It's kind of his story of just growing up and then being the CEO of this massive corporation. And that's just kind of his story in this book. And then there's this one little section that's being not taken out of context, just was taken out before the book was released. And it was basically him talking about his relationship with George Lucas, obviously the creator of Star Wars. And out of all the things he could have said, not only on a moral level, this is just dumb to do. He said George Lucas felt exceptionally betrayed by us at Disney, which is very weird to write in a book. Like, of all the things that he could have lied if he wanted to. He could have completely lied, said, "Oh, we had a great relationship, it went smoothly."
Yeah.
But he's all, no, he felt betrayed. So, and then it got back into the whole thing that George Lucas had massive amount of script for episodes 7, 8, and 9. Rey was supposed to be called Kira, and it was supposed to be more following the lines of, like, more mythology stories. So he had plans. He said, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, basically said, "We'll do it." And according to your interpretation, they didn't. Well, they didn't. That's just a fact. They didn't do his script. Some people like the new stuff, some people don't. But that's a whole different conversation. So that's pretty much the news. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I think since Disney bought Star Wars, there have been a whole lot of changes, like, immediately after. I mean, I was still fairly new to Star Wars when they bought it and when I saw the new stuff, but still, you can see a difference, and it's very quickly became something different. But we were talking about this before. I think not everyone's gonna like what Disney did with Star Wars. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
I don't personally like it as much. However, where would Star Wars be if Disney didn't buy it? Like, Disney kind of saved Star Wars from kind of going obsolete.
Yes.
It gave it a whole new resurgence, so it kept the franchise going, and it's going to keep it going for the inevitable future. So it might not be our best version of Star Wars, but in my opinion,
it's Star Wars.
Some Star Wars is better than no Star Wars, and it keeps the story alive. However, I do not think it's good to take some creative thing and change it just because you buy out a company to make it your own, because obviously George Lucas has the best ideas, because he invented the whole thing. So I just feel like, especially the whole thing with, like, the Spider-Man stuff, they're not, at some point, the corporations and stuff, they're not taking into consideration the characters and the story and the universe.
Yes,
they're taking into consideration the money and how they can monopolize this. How can they make all the sales, all the toys, all the merch, all this stuff? They're not thinking about the story, and that, I mean, it's not going to change. That's just how it is, but I don't like that.
No,
so.
it's not fun. You want to think that they're good people at heart, but, there's also shades of, like, oh, that's not cool. But that is just corporation stuff.
Yeah, true. Cool. That's very, very cool right there. While you were talking, I just, like, accidentally almost knocked over my camera. It was pretty funny.
I accidentally knocked over my phone, so
nice.
we both messed up. That's over again.
And for the next topic, it's probably a pretty obvious one. We've hinted at it a couple times throughout the first half of this podcast. Spider-Man is back in the MCU for the time being, which is amazing. It's happy. It's great. It's wow. I mean, it's great. So if you've been living under a rock, Sony and Disney can't get along. That's pretty much clear. They're fighting like little children, and they couldn't make a deal on the rights to Spider-Man. Sony wanted to, get Spider-Man back to make their own movies, which would just be dumb because Disney has made so much money with Tom Holland and with the MCU Spider-Man. So, like, again, it goes back to the character thing. They're putting corporations and money before what's good for the character. And even, like, if you're talking about money, Disney made so much money off of Spider-Man. It's insane. And Sony was getting some of that money, but they just couldn't come to an agreement. But it was like in the final hour, they were able to somehow, no one thought it would happen, but they somehow came to an agreement to make at least, I think it's 2 more movies, right?
Yes. One is Spider-Man solo, and then an Avengers movie with him in it.
Nice. Sweet, yeah, so 2 more at least, and then hopefully by that point they can rearrange yet another contract. Fingers crossed on that, we got some time. So what are your thoughts on the whole Spider-Man, Sony-Disney fiasco?
No, I'm super excited. I was very, very disappointed about him.
Yeah.
I made a very sloppy video, just be sitting in front of a camera basically saying this sucks for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy that this is happening. And then honestly, after this happens, after we have Spider-Man 3 and then him in an Avengers movie, if Sony wants to take him away, then I guess, that's all I really wanted. I wanted closure. I wanted something to happen with him. But a point that I heard is, as long as Disney doesn't have too much, like, hey, this is the MCU in Spider-Man 3, and then and when Sony takes them, they can kind of continue that story, just, not mention Happy Hogan, Tony Stark, all that, and it still feels like it's the same movie.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think now that they know about all this drama, both of them are going to be very clever in a kind of like a sinister way.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on the soap opera. That.
And we're back from our little break. This is going to be like the second half of our episode because this is going to be this week's news. We're still working out all the little details, how to organize our podcast. But anyways, we have another fan question for you guys. This one is, what got you into YouTube? So Aidan, why don't you lead this?
All right. What got me into YouTube? Well, we were just talking about this over our little intermission. And I've done a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of very cringy stuff. I made a song about fidget spinners, which we will play a little clip of right now, just for the fun part. So we're gonna put that in there. Fidget spinner spins around me, fa la 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 la. It spins fast and has ball bearings, fa la 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 la. When I'm with it, I can fidget, fa la 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 la. Fidget spinner spins around me, fa la 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 la. And that's how that sounds, and it was an interesting time. But no, I've been doing YouTube since 2015. I started off, believe it or not, as a Minecraft gaming channel, and it kind of snowballed from there. And throughout the time, I realized that no, I'm not in fact going to be a famous gaming Let's Player, and my 9-year-old dreams kind of shifted into more productive stuff, and then I started vlogging. I would literally vlog like a ton, like literally almost every day of my life for a year, and then that turned into what I do today, starting in about early 2018, end of 2017 was when I really started getting into filmmaking and really appreciating the production process of a YouTube video, and since then I've just kind of been making what I love and putting all my skills and that into my videos. So that's where I am. What about you, David? What got you started with the YouTube?
Okay, so for me, I just did YouTube for a year and a half, and that story is pretty boring. It's just kind of like, okay, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I did it. But behind the scenes, man, I was a YouTuber. I didn't even have a YouTube channel. All of my videos are so cringy.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, your typical toy channel. I loved Skylanders so much back then. So I would do Skylander videos, Minecraft videos, where I would just record my computer screen with my parents' iPhone. So all that fun stuff.
Those videos are so cringy when people do that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And all that fun stuff. I didn't have a YouTube channel, but I pretended I was talking to my bajillion subscribers. So yeah, I had fun playing YouTuber. But yeah, I've only been doing YouTube for a year and a half. My first couple videos are insanely cringy because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was trying to mimic Casey Neistat, but not doing his kind of format. It was very bad, and also they weren't good shots either. But then I would say around like this kind of mark, they've been better, and then since summer of this year onward, they've been pretty okay.
Yeah,
so that's kind of my YouTube story summed up very quick.
It's crazy to think, like you mentioned, how you would play YouTuber, and it's crazy to think that has become such a career that young people are now aspiring to that, whereas just a couple of years ago, they were literally the pioneers of the platform. And to be honest...
Yeah, and then a couple years before that, they didn't even exist, which is just crazy.
Know. It's so oversaturated now. I really appreciate the platform, and I almost wish that I was just, born just a little bit earlier so I could have gotten on that first, first swing, first, movement of YouTube, because it's so hard to get an audience now. But what audience I do have, I really appreciate, and it's a really good audience. And I think you can say the same about yours. Small audiences, even though they're small, they are still very good.
Yes,
so.
they're the best because you can interact with them and you can almost know them. We're talking to each other. We do a weekly podcast, and all this came because you said nice video, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy how little communities are just awesome.
It's awesome, yeah. Alright, starting off with the next topic of today's podcast. Stranger Things number 4 promo is officially released. Oh my goodness, mind is blown. It is like, what? Dude.
I know, it's already here. It's
I can't
crazy.
believe, like,
happened.
Stranger Things, like, it feels like literally just yesterday that the first season was out. Stranger Things, it's such a good show. Some people really don't like it, but I love the show. It's so good. Number 3, I totally binge watched that over the summer. Best. Oh, dude, it's just so good. And the new trailer.
Is amazing. I really love season 3.
Yeah, we'll put a little audio clip of the trailer here just to kind of give a little bit of it. Please don't copy strike us, but yeah, we're just gonna do that. And that's what it sounds like, and it's pretty cool. There's not a whole lot said. It just basically says we're not in Hawkins anymore. And the opening shot of, like, the, Stranger Things logo, like, blinking in the forest, it looks so good. Yes. And it's just, it has that overall creepy tone that we come to love from Stranger Things. And I'm just excited to see what happens. Like, I want to see what happened to Hopper. I can't wait to see just all that stuff. It's just gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a great season.
It really is.
And when's it coming out? Did it say? I think it's like...
No, the theories are either Christmas time of next year, which I would love since we have one for each season.
Yeah.
And you touched on Hopper, and I think, honestly, people don't like me for saying this. I wish he just kind of stayed dead, because I don't like how the main characters just kind of come back.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I get that, though, because, like, it's... I don't know. He's not gonna die. I mean, you never see his body. We even we did. I saw this frame by frame analysis where they look at the place where he got like exploded, and he's not there anymore. So he's gonna be like in that past credit scene. He's gonna be the American they were talking about.
Of course.
But it's dude, it's like they know that like people aren't that dumb, and they're gonna figure it out. Like I feel like just kill him or don't kill him. But
yes.
But the whole storyline, the whole fan theories, I love that. Did you if you call fun. What is it? Where did you find that? Where there was something, I don't know how I came across it, but there's like that phone number that you call and then you get like the voicemail of
Seriously?
that one. What?
Yeah. Phone number?
I don't know where the phone number was provided. I think it was in one of the episodes, but you call it and then you get the voicemail of that one Russian guy that Hopper's friends with. What's his name? Hey, what's up, future Aidan here. I am editing the podcast right now, and I figured I would dig deeper into this Easter egg thing I was talking about. No, he is not a Russian guy. I was trying to talk about Murray. I kind of thought he was Russian. I don't know why. The Easter egg is basically a voicemail message that comes across when you call the number that was displayed in episode 6 of Stranger Things Season 3. So you called it, and you got this pre-recorded message of him talking to Joyce. So I will play a clip of that right now. But yeah, I don't know why I thought he was Russian. I don't know. I was kind of winging the podcast right there, so.
Hi. You have reached the residence of Murray Bauman. Mom, if this is you, please hang up and call me between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m. as previously discussed, okay? And this is Joyce. Joyce, thank you for calling. I've been trying to reach you. I have an update. It's about, it's probably best if we speak in person. It's not good or bad, but it's something.
Oh, it was so cool. It was awesome. It was like a little thing. I love when like places kind of do like little Easter eggs like that. That is amazing. I really like that.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Real quick, what do you think this whole "we're not in Hawkins" is?
Well, I mean, I know that like. So, like,
Do you think it's, like, just kind of like, oh, we're just not in Hawkins?
Well, they moved, but I think, probably the evil and all that stuff will kind of follow them. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what comes. I mean, anything from Stranger Things is always going to be good, so I'm just very interested. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Billy's not dead either, because there's a shirt that keeps going around where it's all the characters, and then Billy, his name is written upside down. So
really? What? That's...
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Dude, Stranger Things is so much. You can make an entire podcast about that.
You really could. Could.
We should do
I think we should one time.
Yeah, we should make like special episodes all about one thing. Let us know.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be
contact
really cool.
us, our listeners. Contact us and tell us if you'd be interested in that. That'd be cool.
Yes.
All right. Lead us off with the second topic, David. You were going to talk about the Birds of Prey trailer.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I just want to. Okay, I'm gonna just give my hot take.
All
Hot
right.
take is it looks very, very okay. That's my simple, fast hot take.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, character-wise, looks cool. It just looks like Suicide Squad Take 2.
Yeah.
I'm not loving it so far. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Suicide Squad was a good movie. I don't know. I'm a Marvel guy, so, and like also like, well, the only DC thing I watch is Flash and Arrow. Yeah.
Yes.
So Flash is amazing. I got a little Flash figurine sitting on my desk. He's pretty cool. But no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I saw the trailer. Like, it didn't.
Did you like Suicide Squad?
Yes.
You did? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Well, okay, well.
Like, I watched it. Like, I wasn't really like. I was kind of younger, so I wasn't necessarily critiquing it from a movie standpoint.
Yeah, it was an okay movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was okay. It was fun. It was like the Avengers, but without like, the Avengers. Like
I should watch it
losing
again
the-
because I was like, it was a long time ago. I barely remember it, but now at this point, I don't see myself liking it. I don't know. It didn't really speak to me. Like all the Marvel stuff, Stranger Things. It's like I know that that's something I want to see. Like I'm like my mind is like blown. I am like stoked. With this, it's like okay. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. but-
Okay, so I have a couple of notes if you don't mind me just running through them.
yeah.
So
Go ahead.
When Harley Quinn is with all these criminals, it's usually called the Gotham City Sirens,
Yeah.
but because they are heroes, now they're calling them the Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I looked up. Okay, so the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor is in the trailer. I'm not sure if you caught that.
No,
but
really?
he's playing-
What?
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor. He's playing
Nice.
this villain called Black Mask.
Cool.
Okay, that's pretty much all I know. All I know is that he laughed like the Joker, and I thought that maybe for a second they were trying to make him the new Joker, and that would have been... I'm not sure if that would have been awesome, but I'm just glad Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, will be in this movie.
Yeah.
The Joker will be in the movie, but not much, just kind of in flashback scenes, because this is pretty much just like an epic breakup movie. Just Harley Quinn getting over her breakup with the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, and then speaking of the Flash, one of the main characters is Black Canary,
Ooh.
who is a metahuman.
Nice. I like that. That's
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Hopefully we see some Flash in here because Ezra Miller's Flash should be coming out
Yeah.
next year, but it doesn't seem like that, so who knows.
Yeah, Flash is like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of DC, but Flash, I got a special place
Yeah,
in my
the
heart
CW
for the
Flash is
Flash.
such a
Flash
good
is
show.
awesome, so there you
Yes.
go.
And that pretty much wraps up this podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If the audio on my end sounded a little bit weird, testing some stuff out. I'm just using my webcam.
Yeah.
Blue Yeti, all that kind of stuff wasn't working today, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you enjoyed our discussions and our hot takes. And remember to subscribe anywhere you get our podcast. Check out our social medias, link in the show notes. And Aidan, anything else?
Not much more over here. Definitely leave us a voice message if you have a question for our future fan questions. Thank you for joining me on this podcast, David.
Yes, this was awesome, and we're excited to do more. So thank you guys for watching, and I guess we'll see you in the next episode.
All right, we will see you then. Cool.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.